Have you ever wondered why some people seem to pick up new skills almost effortlessly, while others struggle for years to master even one? Is there a hidden secret behind genius? And more importantly, could you become one of those rare individuals? Think of names like Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Marie Curie. What did they all have in common? They refused to be confined to a single box. They mastered multiple disciplines and changed the course of history. They were polymaths. But what about today? In a world that constantly pushes us to specialize, is there still room for versatile minds? From childhood, we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? As if one answer, one career, one destiny should define us. But what if the real answer was never just one? We live in the age of information where any knowledge is just a click away. It has never been easier to become a polymath. Yet, paradoxically, it has never been harder to stay focused and disciplined long enough to truly master anything. Here's the truth. Learning is not some magical talent you're born with. It's a system. And once you learn how to use that system in your favor, you can master any skill you want. In this video, we'll uncover exactly what it takes to become a modern polymath. The mindset that unlocks limitless growth. The strategies that make learning faster and deeper. The way to connect knowledge across fields for powerful insights. And how technology can become your greatest ally or your greatest distraction. So, if you've ever felt the frustration of starting something new only to quit halfway through, stay with me. Because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you see learning and mastery. Let's begin with the foundation of it all, your mindset. Mastering anything in life doesn't start with a perfect technique or the latest hack. It begins with how you perceive learning itself. If you believe intelligence and talent are fixed, that some people are simply gifted while others are not, then you've already lost. Polymaths are not born geniuses. They are people who embrace a growth mindset, the belief that skills are built, not given. And that mindset begins with one powerful force, relentless curiosity. Da Vinci didn't wait for permission to learn. He was obsessed with exploring how the world worked. His notebooks overflowed with sketches of anatomy, engineering, art, even astronomy. He didn't see boundaries between disciplines, only possibilities. But curiosity alone isn't enough. To truly learn anything, you must cultivate something even more rare, intellectual humility. What does that mean? It means admitting you don't know everything. It means seeing ignorance not as failure, but as an invitation to grow. Psychologists call it the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less you know, the more you overestimate your knowledge. Real masters, on the other hand, see how vast knowledge truly is, so they never stop learning. And just as crucial, you must understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he famously replied, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." That's the polymath mindset. Every mistake is a step forward, not a step back. But mindset doesn't live in your head alone. It's rooted in your body and your daily habits. If you eat poorly, sleep badly, and live constantly distracted, how can you expect your brain to perform at its peak? Learning demands mental energy and focus, and those come from simple physical habits. Nutritious food quality, sleep, and regular movement. The Romans had a phrase, mens sana, in corpore sano. A healthy mind in a healthy body. And without that, no amount of study will stick. Finally, there's the excuse that kills more dreams than any other: I don't have time. But here's the reality: time is the same for all of us. The difference between a polymath and someone stuck in mediocrity is not time, but priority. It's not about finding spare time. It's about making learning a natural part of your day. Listen to a podcast while you drive. Read 10 minutes before bed. Trade 1 hour of scrolling for 1 hour of growth. The time is there, you just have to use it wisely. Because at the heart of the polymath mindset is this: learning is not a one-time project, it's a lifelong journey. And the only real difference between a so-called genius and everyone else is dedication and discipline. Now that you understand the mindset of a polymath, let's get into the system, the practical framework that separates fast learners from those who spend years struggling without results. Because let's be clear, mastery is not about talent. It's not about being gifted. It's about structure, consistency, and how you apply what you learn. Most people think learning means absorbing information, but knowing is not the same as understanding, and understanding is not the same as applying. That's why so many people binge hours of tutorials, courses, or books, and still feel stuck. You can watch 100 videos on guitar, but unless you actually pick up the instrument and play, you'll stay exactly where you are. So what's the first principle of an effective learning system? Active learning. Active learning means you don't just consume information, you turn it into action. If you're learning a new language, don't just watch lessons, speak it, write it, make mistakes, correct them. If you're studying programming, don't just read code, write it, test it, break it, fix it. The key is immersion. Because the difference between someone who reads about swimming and someone who jumps into the pool is everything. But even with active learning, there's a trap. Our brains are wired to forget. Psychologists have proven this with something called the forgetting curve. Without review, we forget up to 70% of what we learn within just 24 hours. So how do you fight back? Two powerful weapons. Spaced repetition. Instead of cramming review information over time, each repetition strengthens the memory until it sticks. Active recall. Instead of rereading notes, test yourself. Force your brain to retrieve information. Write summaries from memory. Teach what you've learned to someone else. That struggle to recall is what cements knowledge. But there's one factor that destroys even the best learning system: inconsistency. Here's where a deceptively simple principle becomes life-changing. The 1% rule. Don't try to master everything at once. Instead, focus on becoming just 1% better each day. Because small improvements compounded over time create massive transformation. Think about it, if you improve just 1% daily in a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. How do you guarantee that consistency? With systems, not vague goals. Most people say, I want to learn piano, but they don't create a structure for it. A system looks like this. Every morning before work, I'll practice piano for 30 minutes. See the difference. Systems remove the need for motivation. They turn learning into part of your routine, non-negotiable. And let's talk about the excuse again. I don't have time. Time is not the problem. Priorities are. To learn, you must eliminate distractions and organize your day. One method is time blocking, setting specific protected hours for learning, as if they were appointments you can't cancel. Another technique, the Pomodoro method. Work in 25-minute bursts with short breaks. It keeps your brain fresh, focused, and engaged. But even with the best system, there's still an enemy that creeps in: procrastination. Why do we procrastinate? Because starting feels overwhelming. The secret: start small. Can't study for an hour. Study for 5 minutes. Can't read a chapter. Read a page. Once you begin, your brain shifts into action mode and momentum takes over. With active learning, spaced repetition, active recall, consistency, and smart time management, mastery stops being a matter of luck. It becomes inevitable. So now you have the right mindset and you know the system that guarantees progress. But here's the real secret that turns knowledge into power. It's not just about learning many things, it's about connecting them. The greatest polymaths weren't just experts in multiple fields. They fused those fields together to create breakthroughs the world had never seen. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't only a painter. He combined art with anatomy, engineering, and astronomy. Benjamin Franklin wasn't just a writer. He was a scientist, diplomat, and inventor all at once. Marie Curie changed science by blending chemistry with physics. Their brilliance wasn't in collecting knowledge. It was in seeing invisible links between different worlds. But here's the problem. Modern society trains us to think in straight lines. From childhood, we're pushed into one box: pick a major, pick a career, specialize. The result: a fragmented view of reality. Innovation dies when everything is siloed. Progress happens only when we think across disciplines. So how do you train yourself to connect ideas? Step 1. Expand your curiosity. Don't limit yourself to your field. If you're in tech, read some philosophy. If you're an artist, explore neuroscience. Everything connects if you're willing to see the patterns. Step 2. Practice associative thinking. This is the ability to link ideas that seem unrelated and spark something new. Steve Jobs said it best. Creativity is just connecting things. He revolutionized Apple's design because he once studied calligraphy, something that seemed useless at the time. That single detour shaped modern typography. Step 3. Organize your knowledge. Random notes aren't enough. You need a system that helps you weave connections. One powerful tool is the Zettelkasten method, a network of notes where each idea links to others, forming a living web of insights. Step 4. Use metaphors and analogies. Einstein explained relativity with the image of an elevator in free fall. Writers build entire worlds by drawing analogies from real life. Metaphors turn the abstract into something graspable, and they spark new ways of thinking. Step 5. Study across fields intentionally. Instead of isolating subjects, blend them. Learn design alongside coding. Pair psychology with history. Your brain will be forced to form unexpected bridges. Step 6. Apply cross-disciplinary problem solving. Tesla combined electrical engineering with magnetism and mechanics to invent technologies that felt like science fiction. Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists, used art and music to teach quantum mechanics. And here's the final crucial step. Create, don't just consume. Knowledge only becomes power when you produce something new with it. Write, draw, build, teach, program, compose. Whatever it is, creation transforms learning into legacy. Because at the end of the day, connecting ideas is what separates those who merely collect knowledge from those who change the world with it. Never in human history has learning been this easy. If you wanted to master a skill a few centuries ago, you had to travel, find a teacher, or spend years experimenting blindly. Today, all you need is a device and an internet connection. With a few clicks, you can access the knowledge of the world. But here's the paradox. If information is everywhere, why do so many people still feel stuck, unable to learn deeply or retain anything long-term? The difference isn't access, it's how you use technology. For some, technology becomes the ultimate ally. A personal university, a library without walls, a chance to connect with brilliant minds across the globe. For others, it's the ultimate trap, a black hole of endless scrolling notifications and distractions engineered to hijack your focus. So how do you make sure technology works for you, not against you? First, treat it intentionally. Use learning platforms instead of random browsing. Block social media during study sessions. Turn off irrelevant notifications. Schedule digital time the way you'd schedule a workout. Second, use technology to organize and amplify your learning. Write digital notes. Build a knowledge system that grows with you. Create summaries. Share what you learn. In fact, one of the most powerful ways to learn is to teach. The physicist Richard Feynman had a rule: if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. So use technology to share your insights. Start a blog post, summaries, or even make your own YouTube videos. When you teach, you process information at a deeper level. Third, embrace global collaboration. Learning is no longer a lonely process. You can join communities, study groups, mastermind circles, all online. Knowledge spreads faster when it's collective. But always remember, technology is just a tool. It can multiply your learning, but it will never do the work for you. The true difference between a polymath and an ordinary learner is not internet access, it's discipline. Discipline to use tools wisely, to filter out noise, and to transform consumption into action. Now you have everything. The mindset of a polymath, the system of mastery, the ability to connect ideas, and the discipline to use technology as your ally. But there's still one thing missing, the most important piece of all action, because knowledge, no matter how vast, is useless if it sits locked inside your head. A true polymath is not measured by how much they know, but by what they do with that knowledge. And here's the biggest illusion about learning: people believe it belongs only to geniuses, to the lucky few born with extraordinary brains. But the truth, anyone can master anything. If big, if you're willing to adopt the right mindset, follow an effective system, connect knowledge across fields, and apply it consistently. History has always favored those who thought widely, crossed boundaries, and dared to see patterns where others only saw fragments. Yet today, we live in an age of suffocating specialization. Most people stay trapped in a single box, afraid that being curious will make them look unfocused. But the greatest innovators in history, they were never defined by just one label. They were explorers. To be a polymath doesn't mean knowing everything. It means never stopping the pursuit of learning. It means refusing to settle for easy answers. It means having the courage to step into the unknown, knowing that real growth always happens outside the comfort zone. And if you're still here listening to these words, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Because most quit at the first obstacle, the first failure, the first sign of difficulty. But polymaths, they don't quit, they adapt, they persist, they evolve. Now the choice is yours. You can close this video and slip back into your routine, or you can take this knowledge and begin mastering something new today. And remember, it's not about mastering everything overnight. It's about improving just 1% every single day, because small daily progress compounded over time creates extraordinary results. So let me ask you, what skill have you always wanted to learn, but never took the first step? Write it in the comments below. Who knows? Your answer might inspire someone else to begin too. And before you go, if this message resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. That way I can keep bringing you content that fuels your growth and maybe, just maybe, help build a new generation of modern polymaths. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's another video on your screen right now that could completely change how you see learning. But it's not for everyone, only for those truly committed to evolving. The choice is yours. I'll see you there.